But I know when people are first learning about this method, the thought of taking naltrexone forever can be really intimidating. And so I'm just curious, should people take naltrexone forever following the Sinclair method if they continue to drink? What do you tell your patients who have that as a concern?
Yes, at least as of today. Again, who knows what kinds of medical breakthroughs or whatever, but based on what we know today, the person will have to take the medication forever prior to drinking. And that's an important kind of thing to think about because, of course, if you don't drink, you don't take the naltrexone, so you definitely don't have to take naltrexone forever. But I always compare it to just like a seatbelt in a car, something like, am I always going to have to wear a seatbelt, when I'm in a car? Well, it's going to be smart. It's going to be a smart thing for you to do, to wear a seatbelt for the rest of your life, every time you're in a car, or wear a life vest every time you're in a boat for the rest of your life. Those are going to be smart things to do. And I think part of it is, unfortunately, it is sort of kind of a raw deal, and so to speak. We know that people who develop drinking problems, there's kind of two ideas about it, and both could be true, but we know they either have kind of like these low baseline levels of these endogenous opioids, or they have this kind of overreactive response to drinking. In other words, it's like very exciting. So for whatever reason, they, it's kind of, you kind of you didn't get the, a good hand dealt to you as far as this is concerned. And that is just something that, that's unfortunate. On the other hand, it's many people have to accept certain things like that. I would say, whether it could be wearing glasses, or, am I going to have to avoid peanuts for the rest of my life if I have a peanut allergy? Yeah, that's too bad. You're really going to be smart. It's going to be really smart for you to do that. Yeah. So, but again, it always, the first decision is to have a drink. So, so if you decide to have a drink, you're going to want to proceed that with the naltrexone, and you're going to want to do that for the rest of your life. And really, thank goodness that is an option. That's the real miracle, is that this option is available versus, fighting these battles in your head for the rest of your life and going to meetings or whatever it might be. But it is, yeah, because the thing is, by blocking the endorphin release and kind of disentangling the association between the behavior and the reward, yes, you're at a neurological level, those associations are weakening, and then finally, they're no longer existing. But the underlying genetic predisposition that created that, kind of the ease at which and the strength at which those associations formed in the first place, that's still there. Nothing has changed about that. So if you were to start drinking again, you would essentially be primed to recreate the same problem for yourself.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen, in general. I think in the 5 years or so I've been in this space, I've had a few people reach out to me and say, oh, I can drink now on holidays without naltrexone and I don't have an issue. But the vast majority of people who have reached out to me who drank without it have relearned it. And whether it took a couple of weeks or a couple of months, they wound up back where they were when they started TSM. And I know for me, I haven't drank in 4 years, but if I were ever going to, I would most certainly take naltrexone before, just because, like you said, I don't trust my brain. Like I know it would go back to that place, even though I've done a lot of work and healing and feel totally effortlessly in control of my drinking. I know where it would go back to in just a matter of time. So
that's right, because the conditions you've created for yourself have nothing to do with the fact that at this neurological level, it's going to start recreating that same thing. Like the progress that you've made in all these particular areas, they're just kind of irrelevant to the fact that those pathways would just recreate themselves. I do want to say too, another thing. It's really a bad way to think about risk. To think about outcomes is really kind of a bad way to think about risk, because you can certainly drive a long time without wearing a seatbelt. And to celebrate that as a kind of victory in rational behavior, I don't think is such a great idea. So it's certainly, because things work until they don't. So it's certainly possible that people who are reached extinction and then can drink on holidays without naltrexone. Whether that's a good idea, it's hard to say. But when risk is involved, I think about kind of the process or kind of the reasoning behind it versus any given outcome, because it could only be a matter of time before circumstances are different and your luck runs out, essentially.